Hello and welcome to episode 25. Who are you being when you eat? If we want what we put in our mouth to help give us energy, if we want what we put in our mouth to help us lose weight, to nourish our bodies, to give us good nutrient absorption, then the experts tell us that mindful eating can help. Let's not talk about what we are eating for now, but how we are eating it, and in this episode, who we are being when we eat. I know this might sound a bit strange and woo-woo. I thought so too when I was first introduced to the concept during my year-long health coach training. But the cool thing is, I've seen mindful eating completely change my own relationship to food, which helped me lose weight, and I've seen it change my clients' relationship to food as well. Taking tiny steps towards new habits and new thoughts about the what we eat, why we eat, where we eat, how we eat, and yes, the who we are being when we eat is important in our progression towards a healthier, more balanced life. These are the actions and habits that have many good side effects when done over time on our overall health, digestion, weight, mood, you name it. And as a woman in midlife with changing hormones and a changing body, I love this, and so do my clients. We are in a series of episodes on food, and today's focus is who we are being when we eat. So, who am I being when I show up to breakfast? When I show up to my lunch at work? When I show up to my snack? Who am I being when I come to the eating experience? Now, stick with me here for a second. How do I show up to my meal or to my snacking? How do you show up to your breakfast, lunch, dinner? Am I the busy mom when I eat? Am I the stressed out professional when I eat? Am I relaxed when I eat? Am I the anxious person when I eat? Am I a little amped up when I eat sometimes? If I show up to my lunch at work feeling a little rushed or slightly stressed, then my elevated cortisol level, that stress hormone, is going to affect how I process my food and likely how I eat it. Am I eating rushed? Am I gulping food down? Am I tense when I am eating? I learned and experienced firsthand how I can have the, quote, healthiest meal. Now, let's sidestep here. I know, quote, healthy eating is kind of subjective, but let's just say I packed a salad of spinach and kale with nuts and seeds and whole grains and fruit. Better yet, let's say a nutritionist has packed my lunch based on my own individual health and dietary needs. Now, wouldn't that be nice? So for argument's sake, let's agree that I have the most energy-giving, whole food lunch there is, waiting for me when I decide to eat my lunch that day. If I show up to eat that healthy lunch, a little stressed, a little rushed, a little annoyed from my morning work experience or from whatever I just came from, then I'm eating in that stressed out state. I'm not even going to say it matters how I eat, but asking my body to digest and absorb nutrients from that healthy meal is going to be a tough ask because my body is in a stress response. And essentially, my digestion slows down and I don't metabolize the food as well as I would if I showed up with more balanced hormones and in a more relaxed state. Yep, all you middle-aged women perked up when I said hormone balance or imbalance, right? Because no matter where you are in your womanhood, premenopausal, menopausal, postmenopausal, you are becoming keenly aware of your hormonal dance party in your body. As women who have, sorry guys, just bear with me for a second because I know some men listen to this, and thank you, by the way. As women who have likely menstruated since our teens, we totally get the effect that hormones can have on our body. But I'm not just talking about estrogen and progesterone. I'm talking about cortisol. So let's be mindful of how our biology affects our weight, our metabolism, our mood, and who we are being when we eat. So let's review just a bit. Eating healthy food and taking healthy actions is only half of the equation when it comes to experiencing optimal health. The other half of the equation is being in the ideal state to digest and assimilate the food we are eating. The stress response is activated by the central nervous system, specifically the hypothalamus. At a basic level, when the stress response is activated, our heart rate speeds up, our blood pressure increases, our respiration quickens, our adrenaline, non-adrenaline, and cortisol hormones are released. Blood flow is routed away from digestion and directed towards the arms and legs or extremities. The digestive system essentially shuts down when we're eating in that stress response. This response was once essential for our survival in nature, right? However, the brain cannot differentiate between real stress of like a lion's chasing me, so my body's not gonna worry about digesting my sandwich, or imagined stress, or that little annoying stress of like my boss just yelled at me, or something happened with my kids, or I'm having a rough day at work, or my refrigerator broke down, or my power went out, or whatever. Essentially, this stress causes our digestive system to shut down and not be as effective. So the part of the nervous system that exerts the greatest influence over digestion is called the autonomic nervous system, or ANS. This is a branch of the peripheral nervous system, or PNS. Now bear with me. The ANS is responsible for stimulating enzymatic secretions to get the digestive process flowing, optimal nutrient absorption, and turning digestion on or off. The two branches of the ANS are the sympathetic nervous system. It turns stress on and it turns digestion off. The second branch is the parasympathetic nervous system. It turns off the stress response and turns digestion on. The PNS is responsible for relaxing the body and telling the body that you're safe. So the formula for optimal digestion and a healthy life is healthy food and lifestyle choices plus an ideal state for digestion and assimilation. So the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous systems are important. And here's the bummer. They're not turned on at the same time. Your parasympathetic is either on or off. And so the sympathetic is either on or off. So it's hard for me to be stressed out and be able to have my body optimally digesting my food. So I was so focused on the what I ate, but not on anything else, and certainly not on what my body was feeling, whether it was tensed up or, whatever. I was often eating while working, while checking email that might not necessarily be pleasant, or maybe I'm eating while complaining to my coworkers at lunch while we blew off steam, or I'm listening to someone's grumpy story about their weekend, or I'm scrolling through social media, or, reading something really that's like getting me fired up. Having that kind of state affects my digestion. So I was eating healthy things, but I wasn't seeing the result that I thought I should because the quote, what I was putting in my mouth was healthy. But how I was showing up to eat it was in this low level, amped up, stressed out state. So we can flip that switch. It doesn't take long to get into a relaxed state before eating. We don't want to wait until, oh my gosh, I can't wait till I have that day off so I can relax, or I go on vacation so all my meals can be in a relaxed state. We can trick your brain and your body into thinking you're relaxed by breathing like a relaxed person, so we can kind of get those hormones a little bit more in check and to get that parasympathetic nervous system back on. So simply check in with yourself before you dig into that meal or that snack. Are you coming to the eating experience? And yes, it should be an experience. More on that in future episodes. Are you coming to the eating experience upset, distracted, rushed, annoyed? How can you shift out of that so that you can eat relaxed, turning on your parasympathetic nervous system? First, be aware of your mood. Don't just dive in, just stop and check yourself before you eat. It takes about 2 minutes to get yourself into that more relaxed state. So before you begin to eat, simply pause and take 10 full breaths. Inhale and exhale. I know it sounds silly, but we tend to have that shallow breathing. We're amped up. Just take 10 full inhales and exhales. That will take about 2 minutes. And that's the time it takes to get into that relaxed state so that you can actually digest your food. Then you're going to be coming to that eating experience, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, whatever, ready with your full digestive power. So for me, it's easy to come to my breakfast relaxed with that full digestive power because I have a habit, and that's what we're going for here. I have a habit of eating breakfast in a relaxed state at home, on my porch, or in front of the fireplace. Over the years, I have carefully cultivated a morning routine which allows me to take my time, ease into the day, and yes, even when it was a work day and I had a 10-hour pediatric back-to-back speech therapy with kids day ahead of me, I would start out with this nice, easy routine. In fact, my kids and my husband used to make fun of me. They're like, oh my gosh, you have this whole 2-hour ritual before you even start getting ready for work. It really helped me. Now, cultivating a relaxed lunch can be more challenging, right? For those of us that work or have a busier midday. But ironically, this is the meal that we would likely benefit the most from having our full digestive power activated so that we can get the full benefit from our lunch and ward off that afternoon slump or cravings or grumpiness. Remember too from a previous episode where I said our brain will keep searching for food until it feels like it has had that full eating experience. If we are eating stressed and a little rushed and slightly amped up, which was me in my late 30s and early 40s. That was just my default. I didn't even really realize how amped up I was. That's another story. But this can have a negative effect on our health over time. And it certainly had a negative effect on mine. Ooh, hello, early menopause, osteoporosis, pre-diabetes, all kinds of things. We're going to talk about this showing up eating stressed or managing that amped up stress in much more detail in an upcoming podcast series on stress management. But for now, please know that how you show up to your meal, who you are being when you're eating, can have an impact on how your body uses that food. Go ahead and Google it. In my 90-day Eating for Energy coaching program, I coach my clients through taking these simple steps around mindful eating, and they are always pleasantly surprised with their results. Of course, forming habits around these concepts takes time, and my 3-step process is the best way to go about doing it. Step 1, take the right kind of action. Step 2, check your thoughts. Step 3, get the right kind of accountability and support. So taking the right kind of action around learning to come to a meal more relaxed. So like, 2 times this next week in the next 7 days, I'm going to stop and take 10 full, easy breaths before I eat. Or checking your thoughts. So let me check. So I eat in a relaxed state, telling yourself a new story rather than I'm always rushed in my lunch and, I'm just shoveling it in. Step 3, get the right kind of accountability and support. Check in with someone and say, hey, I make sure that I follow through with this. I want to eat 2 meals in this relaxed state, 2 of my lunches. So my coaching program gives you all 3, taking the right kind of action, checking your thoughts, and getting the right kind of accountability and support while you're building these habits around mindful eating or movement or stress management. To get started today, go to coachingcanhelp.com. And until next time, check who you are being when you sit down for that meal. Keep it simple, keep it real, and I'll catch you in the next episode.